Hi, everybody. I just came back from the Pacific Palisades, the 1 year anniversary to the horrific, tragic fire that burnt down the whole town. Now, there were two towns that were burned down really, really badly to the same extremes. And that's the Altadena Eaton fire, they call it. And I'm not going to talk about that except maybe some little things, but I'm going to keep it to the Pacific Palisades. We had friends that um, their places, one burned down to the ground. She was a renter, another was a renter, and theirs was so burnt, everything was destroyed by the smoke and by the smoke and the fire, but not burnt down to the ground. And then there are many people that my husband worked with that lived up there and lost their homes. And I felt like that there were some really troublesome things, red flags happening, not like the red flag warning of the worst wind coming in the Santa Anas that we've had in 40 years. That the way that Karen Bass, the mayor, handled the recovery. And so within a month, and this is what bothered me, of the fire happening. So President Trump gets elected and he takes office, and then she starts in with the Trump aid and about illegals and illegal immigrants and illegal immigrants. And this money that's been going to them, and it goes on. I don't want this to be about that, but I was like, what are you doing? Like, we just had the towns, they've just burned down. Like, so why are you talking about immigrants? What are you so like, focus on the towns, rebuild the towns, do what you're supposed to do. And it never happened. It went on and on. We had the rioting in the summer. We had ICE come here. We had paid protesters. We had gang cartels down there burning Waymos. And I'm talking about it, and the police cars. It was nuts. And so the people that I knew, some people didn't get a dime. Then you start hearing about the fraud and where's the $100 million that was raised by all the musicians. It went to nonprofits. That money did not go to, as far as I know, that's being investigated now, that fraud. You know, when 9/11 happened and a lot of money was raised, hundreds of millions of dollars, that did not go to any nonprofit. It went directly to the people. I have friends, childhood friends that became millionaires. So anyway, I made a little list. This was my sign, and it was called "They Let It Burn." So what I saw there is I didn't know this, that I heard it on AM 640 on the John Cobell show that there was going to be this rally, and I was free, and so I wanted to go. I wanted to be around other people. I wanted to support them and see how they were doing, how the town was doing. Well, it's not good. It isn't good. And so they let it burn. I did another video. It's up. It's like 3.5 hours long. It was alive. I just stood there and all of these people talked. Tracy Parks talked. Spencer Pratt talked, and the guy who was the founder, who put this on, he is the beginning. So you'll see him, and then there's a whole lot. There was like 12 people. There's a lawyer representing a lot of people. I think there might be more than one lawyer and more than one case. But anyway, he was pretty brilliant, and he told a lot of things that they have found out about what happened on New Year's Eve, on January 1st, the failures that took place. It was numerous. This is many facets that went wrong, that have been wrong here for a very long time, and which caused an entire town to burn down. But what I heard from a lot of people is that they feel like it was done on purpose. And I was like, wow. Like I felt that way about Lahaina. Like absolutely. That was intentional. But how evil and like how horrific that anybody would do that and be a part to that. It's one thing if you're incompetent and inept and you're a lousy leader, which I think that's true of Mayor Karen Bass and of Governor Gavin Newsom, who has no business being the governor of any state, never mind the president of the United States. Karen Bass needs to step down. So I'm going to go over my points. Now, some of these points are the points that this group that has created, a community that's fighting the city and the state. Clear the debris in the mobile home park. So there is one mobile home park. There were three of them. One burned to the ground. FEMA refused to clear it, is what the gentleman who lived in that mobile home park. This was probably, uh, this is affordable housing in a place that's, expensive. It didn't used to always be this expensive, but it's been expensive for at least 40 years since I've been here. No permit fees. They waived them in Altadena. Why? Well, the county was involved with that, not the city, and so they did it. Well, then do it for them. No permit fees. The brush clearing, have a plan and do it. Like, do it tomorrow. Make the plan and then have them get out there and do it. They've done it before. They've done it for 80 years here. They stopped doing it in the 90s. They said when the environmental, crazies got, hold, that's like the Coastal Commission and oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. And, California would not be what it is if they did not ever allow people to do things like drilling, like to use the oil is so rich here. And it's ridiculous here anyway. Fill the reservoir. There happens to be two. Now they're going to empty the one that should have been full. I heard they're going to empty it again because there's another cover. Forget the cover. You don't need the cover. All right. I don't know for how many years since the 70s it didn't have a cover. Why does it need a cover now? It's for fire. It is not for the water. They don't need it. I was talking to one of the residents there who lost his home. Talked about that with me. Fire, the DWP CEO, Janice Quinones. She came from PG&E up north where the campfire burned down. She's from Puerto Rico originally, found her way up there, small town, works for PG&E, and then that town burns down. Why are you coming down here? Why would you hire a woman from another power company where a town burned down? Why would you do that? Karen Bass did it. And then they gave her $250,000 more. The last guy got like 500,000 or something, and they gave her seven. What? Why? Why? She, she, fire her. Well, Karen Bass says to fire her, or she could step down. Karen Bass, she needs to go. Okay. She cares more about the illegals. Oh, she went on and on about the illegal immigrants. We've had enough. We don't want them getting, that's for another video. Okay, I'll keep it to this. Gavin Newsom needs to step down. He vetoed a $100 billion bill that the voters passed in 2020, all for fire, to save the fires and not save the fires, save to do brush clearing and to hire more firemen, all for fire safety, water capture, all this stuff. But not really. I think the 100,000 was more for clearing brush and fire safety, more firefighters. Perhaps they would fix the 100 trucks that were sitting in the yard. Now that was exposed right away when the fires did happen. Okay, and end the protection of this. This is the big one. This is they talked a lot about this today, of the stupid plants, the milk. I can't even say the name, the milk thread or whatever it's called. They have put California, the state of California, and the park around it has put in their plan. They've made this like a law that this plant is more important than human beings and their homes. These people are crazy. They're crazy. We got to vote them out, and you got to take that out and say, clear the brush. Just do it. Like, I don't know what it's going to take here for you to burn down two towns. If these people do not vote very differently in the fall of 2026, they will, I actually think it will completely collapse here in California. But I am hopeful that maybe somebody like Steve Hilton or, I don't know if there's somebody else, but Spencer Pratt said that he's going to run for mayor. I hope he does. I don't know if Rick Caruso is going to run for somebody, for something. You know, there were things that were talked about today that you can see on my 3.5 hour long video that I did live today that were, really shocking about. So they did a deposition with a park ranger, a woman, and she saw the smoldering. Okay, so let's go back. New Year's Eve, we have the guy who's the arsonist. He is in jail. He was awaiting trial, that he was an arsonist, that he did this, and allegedly. And but the next day there was so the firemen came, they supposedly put it out, but then the next day people saw smoke, so they brought him back and they thought they, had cleaned it up and put it out. But the ranger, this is a different ranger, told them that they couldn't keep the clear. They had cleared at like a circle or how they clear that a fire line so that it keeps it from jumping, right? That's what they do. Well, that ranger told those firemen that he had to put that stuff back on there. Put the dry kindling back closer to where the fire was. And that you can't touch this. You can't touch this. Oh my God. What's wrong with these people? It's a lot like we won't take care of our legal citizens and we won't pay for their college and give them free healthcare, but we're going to give it to, in the billions to these illegals came in droves and like were robbing and burglarizing all the homes in my neighborhood and Woodland Hills and many neighborhoods over the summer when Joe Biden was president, and the border was wide open. It was a nightmare here. It was a nightmare. So, to go there and see the buildings, and I only, was standing in the one area. I would love to fly over it and see it. It was horrific. And to talk to so many people who lost their homes. Um, there's not even a coffee shop in the village right now, you know? Um, yeah, so it was really, really, really sad. And I just felt it was important for me to go and support and to see for myself, to be face to face. It's like one thing for me, what happened with us here is that I have a deck and I don't feel like I'm on a hill, but I guess it's a little bit of a hill. And I could see the Palisades. I could see the flames 100 feet in the air on January 7th last year. And I was like, oh, where's the fireman? Like I was like having a panic attack. And I would go down the seat, see the TV and look and put it into, my YouTube and, what. And I was like, where are the firemen? Then I woke up the next day and I'm like, what do you mean? The field is still red. Where are they? And then you hear all this BS about they're coming from San Diego and oh, they're coming down from Oregon. Why? Well, there was a lot of arson. I got to tell you, after that fire, you had the Altadena fire, which was insane. And then you had arsonists go into Hollywood. There were people that started fires there. There were people that started fires. People caught them, and these fires got put out quickly. Even out in the in along, I guess, going up on the five, up by Santa Clarita, there was a woman who just threw something, and she said, "I like to see fire." I was like, "Oh my God!" So there was a lot of craziness that was going on. And just as a side note, most of the calls that the Los Angeles Fire Department gets are homeless encampment fires. So there's a lot of waste of our fire department being called out when all of these people should be cleared off our streets. That's another subject, which I'm sure I'm going to do a video. And on a side note, I'm going to build another channel. I'm building it now. And I'm going to talk about stuff like this and lots of other topics. Entertainment, current events, some politics, some fun things. I don't know. Who knows? But it's got to divert a little bit from my whole thing that I did with my film and my ex-stepper and leaving AA stuff. But this felt huge. This is because we all felt it. I mean, when it happened, these people were all displaced. Thousands and thousands of people were displaced with nowhere to go. And they spilled into this part of LA, West LA, into Santa Monica. They went down to Newport. They went down to Orange County. But we felt it and saw it, and it was brutal. And it's not okay. They have not handled it well. Let me tell you this. Gavin Newsom is a failed at so many levels. COVID was horrific. And the money, the fraud here, that's another video, which I'll do. But everybody's doing them now because, he actually got away. He so far. that when the EDD fraud happened, it started with $25 billion of our unemployment insurance was stolen. And you know what he said? And then it went up to 30. I don't know. I heard Steve Hilton said it was even higher than that. $30 billion. Oh, it's nothing we can do. It's gone already. What? Wait a second. It's gone where? These people are such idiots to give unemployment out on a credit card through B of A. No, you should do checks to a person, to their home, unless you want to have a lot of fraud. And so it's brutal. But these people they're strong and resilient, and I know that people are having a really hard time though. Don't let anybody fool you with this toxic positivity that I heard coming out of some of the people, mostly in Altadena. I don't know why. I don't know why people feel like they have to find the joy in your house in your town burning down, or you have to have, especially because of the experience with the whole AA thing. That's something that AA does to people. You have to always find the good in something. You have to be grateful. Like nonsense. You burned the town down. We're coming for you. This has to stop. We're coming for your job. You need to step down. You need to fire Janice Quinones, DWP CEO. Karen Bass needs to step down. You should not run for office. And Gavin Newsom should also step down. So, folks, God bless you. And if you have it in you to pray for all of these people here in both fires, and that they are running out of money in Altadena, and there's very different circumstances, but there's people who, like I said, who lived in the mobile home parks in the Pacific Palisades. They don't have money. That These are not rich people. All the jobs, all the people who work there. There was a guy who called into the radio show who has a window washing job, and he said 40 of his clients were there. I know a door guy who installs doors because I had a door that needed repair and needed replacing. He said that's where he worked. He worked all the time, and he needs work. So it's sad, and I just needed to come and, you know, I want the world, especially the United States, and the people here that might vote for a president in our next election to know how horrible, horrible of he's a failed leader, Gavin Newsom, and don't let him fool you. I'm going to do a whole thing on him. All right, see you later. Bye.